Around September, I had two solicitors, on behalf of man in the village, Justin's visiting to sell me banners, to be placed in the village light posts. I declined due to, at the time, we had majority of our finances, tied into a location, which we were leasing at that time. After the third time, we were visited by the solicitors, who I was very firm, after they became a little bit more irate that I declined, $5,000 worth of banners. Matt showed up an hour later stating that the state of Illinois notified him that there was a new business in our location. The question I had on that was, how would the state of Illinois notify him if at that time, my Illinois state business license was registered in my home in Oak Brook, and then my Illinois tax ID was registered in my previous home at 7235 Heather Trail here in the village. If I don't have a business license, I would have to cease operations, and I am not authorized to repair vehicles due to the property not being a commercial zone at that time. I requested help from Richard Spar on what to do and how to do it as they went through the process and approval. Deadlines were always given to me within the days of the deadline requested. During these time frames, I was also certified mailed and hand delivered by Matt, although process, if the demands were not met, operations will cease and daily fines will be handed. The question I will have is, which will be relevant to Brett Head, is that the fact that Matt was so involved of an authorized business being operated, he had to personally deliver the letter. So, following now this year, and starting in February 2018, I was noticing an Outparts red delivery vehicle always heading west on Frontage Road. During the next 3 months, it became more frequent in the end of May. So the end of May, during a test drive, I ended up behind the vehicle heading north on Cronin and witnessed the vehicle stopping at a residence, and the parts driver was unloading 3 moon suspension boxes, which are very noticeable because they're yellow and blue boxes. I decided to keep tabs to see how many times I would notice another male working on vehicles at that time. He was working on vehicles with the garage completely open. So in June, I notified the building department. Man asked for the address at first. Gave him the wrong address, realizing it was when Matt called back, and I verified it with a return phone call when I verified the address. He said that he would send an inspector right away. As the weeks went by, the same older gentleman was working on the vehicles at the same residence. I had my wife call the second time to the building department. Once again, Matt answered. My wife identified herself, reported what she saw. Matt said he already notified the inspector and rushed her off and hung up from there. After this incident, my client George Passerino and myself had a conversation after I told him the address. He mentioned to me that the resident is right across the street from the mayor's home. After learning this, I asked George if he can ask the mayor if he was aware. The comment with George was, "It's on my dog walking route, let me verify." So a week passed by. Mr. Kris, Passerino called me and notified me that he as well reported it as he witnessed the other male working on vehicles at that time. The older gentleman is still working at the residence with the garage fully open. After the last report, the older male now closes the garage door and leaves it open between 1 to 2 feet off the ground. So approximately 4 weeks go by. Now the older male is still working on vehicles, and it's 2 or 3 vehicles at a time. It's not like it's once a week or twice a week. So now I had to, so I tried to find another recourse on this, who to speak to. I spoke to Matt, spoke to George. I followed the proper steps to remedy the issue, and nothing has been done. So now we're in August. So now in August, I was attached to emails being sent back and forth with Jim, Ed, and the mayor from George. I think then came to realize to be known that the older gentleman is named Peter. The emails became inappropriate when the mayor threatened George. And I'll get to that with the emails. They're also attached to the paperwork. At this time, I notified George to let it go before it gets out of control, and with the threats, and started to keep it. And so I started keeping a log being done at the residence. So I logged in 25 different vehicles with 16 times the vehicles the mayor's across the street, and I'll get to that as well. That began for me in August 18th, and I stopped on September 7th. On September 8th and 9th, I reported this kind of photos that you guys will have, and you guys have in that paperwork. The older male now known as Peter working on vehicles, and with the mayor being home, these dates are significant due to Peter now who was working again with the garage completely open. So on 9/9, I did notify the mayor. I sent him an email attached to, everybody that was attached to it was Ed, Rush, Jim Workin, Ed Shoko was attached to it as well. So nothing has been done since there's other current photos. Those photos are gonna be kinda outdated, but I do have the timestamps on our phone, for those photos. With Peter still working on the residence and the mayor being home. I gave it a chance, I went through the proper steps. I did my due diligence to remedy this issue. So on the emails you guys had, which would be page from 1 to 3, the first thing I'm gonna start with is when I sent the email, the mayor says this is crazy, Peter did not work on anything since the court date of September 7th. I had told people that I'm not specifically dating when September 7th. He said he cut the sister's lawn and left. There were cars in the driveway, which I don't even know because I didn't know if I had to be September 7th. But they had guessed. This is insanity, this is persecution. I'm not persecuting the guy because I'm not affiliated with any political party. I'm not affiliated with any certain religion, and I'm not persecuting him his race. So persecution is not a thing I would say it's an email. On the second page, which is highlighted as well, the email sent to George was, sorry George, this is after George Pesarino complained and was trying to get some more information on it. On it says, this is from the mayor to George, I will have to report your violation too. You remodeled your bathroom, did plumbing and electric without permit by an unlicensed contractor and not registered in the village, and you're appointed village official. I will place an official complaint with the village authorities. Your conduct is violating village ordinances is unacceptable. Safety, I'll have a question for that one as well. The bottom of it says, there's a second highlighted, says cut it out George, I will handle it. And on the third page, this is from James Lurkwin, says the issue had been addressed in court, no further action can be taken at this time. The question that you have on those emails, on the complaint against George, if the mayors had filed a complaint as of yet, or when did he find out and why didn't he have to file a complaint about that? Why has the mayor not filed a complaint from the residents across the street from his home, as I gave plenty of information and evidence that he's still working out of that residence? How did the mayor know that the gentleman's name and information about him, that's his name, that he lived in Palos Hills, that's his sister's house, but nowhere in the records proves that was ever negotiated or even said in court, because I did FOIA the court recording, and all it said in there that the lady said that her brother came in, their vehicle didn't start, and it was unfounded. So I'm giving you the proof that it's impossible that it was unfounded when there's proof there. This is not a one full day pictures, it's an accumulation of almost 30 days of pictures. So, I mean, has there been a follow-up since the July 24th since the court? Because I told everybody that heard this, and I heard it before, it makes sense. If you get a ticket for speeding and you're found not guilty, it doesn't give you permission to keep speeding. So this is the same, if you know if somebody's complaining about a resident or a residency of an illegal business being done, why wouldn't it be done, checked out again throughout July 24th till said date? And this comes to, the pictures I got is not timestamped there, but those pictures I took, there's 3 days from last week. That was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday he was there, Saturday he was there, but the garage door is closed, so I can't prove those 3 days. Those 2 days. So there's 3 days that I have the pictures of him working on vehicles, because nobody works in the garage so many times, unless you have a great family that were like over 60 cars, I understand, but I kind of highly doubt that. So my last question is this: according to the email, the mayor said he was going to handle it. How was it handled? If I don't see anything was going on from the progression of from July, August, to this month. And according to the emails, how was it handled in court? Because I don't know how was it unfounded. I don't understand how that was not founded. So, but all my questions are on the paperwork that you guys have in those packets. Pictures on the packets. If you guys want the timestamps, I can just get the timestamps printed out and show you what the timestamps on the pictures. And those pictures as well, I took pictures of the mayor being home at the same time the gentleman was working with the garage door open. And another time I took a picture of him driving out of his home, and while the guy had the garage doors open as well. So it's impossible that you can't look across the street and not notice there's somebody working on the garage.
So Mayor, is there an illegal business being run out of this house? You know.
I know, I believe,
Did you had any problems until now with the guy?
it's an he's running a
No.
business, a legal
What I'm
business.
asking-
He's running an illegal, I don't know his name, he's running an illegal business out of his house. He's not providing the village with any business license, any sales tax. Why is this continuing to allow it to be?
Let me say, since I am a party, obviously,
Yeah.
when I built my house, that house across the street was already there. I know the lady, she was a neighbor in Chicago, the old neighbor. She moved there with her daughter. The guy in question is her brother, okay? He was living in that house with her for a very long time. Until his son came from Poland, they purchased the house, Hickory Hills somewhere. And he moved with his son and his daughter and the kids. The guy was working for 30 years as a mechanic in Hellman's Bakery. We've known each other. He fixed my lawnmower. I cleaned his driveway in the winter. His sister driveway. I cleaned the Giselle driveway. We help each other, okay? The guy retired 2 years ago, when they closed the Hellmans. He's bored out of his mind. So occasionally, friends come over, bring a case of beer, he fix his car, put a new alternator, change the pads. He's not a car mechanic like you have mechanics. But he does it for the friends. I know some of his friends. He helped Russ. He helped the guy that lives across the street, that old elderly Polish couple. He was a good neighbor. I didn't thought nothing of it. Nothing of it, okay? All of a sudden, I'm starting getting those emails. And it seriously seems like a persecution. The guy was called to court. First time I found out, his sister went to court. She says he's not gonna do it anymore. I don't know what happened. Whether the case was dismissed, let me finish, or how it was handled. It's none of my problem. In August, Peter, my neighbor, call him my neighbor because he lived there for many, many years, he went to Poland. He wasn't even home for a month. On those pictures you see, his truck is there, the lawnmower is on it because he mows the lawn for his sister. So we cannot now visit our relatives and mow their lawn? Does he take any business away from you? And I'm gonna go to legality of it later. I don't think so, because no one that comes to him, his friends, that he shoots the breeze with and drink the beer while changing the brake pads, would come to your business anyway. I can guarantee you that. How many people, trust this far, how many gearheads we have in the village that deal with the cars, tinkers, and buy old cars and remodel them and sell them and buy another car and remodel? Is it a business or what would it? Is it a hobby? How do we qualify? How do we quantify that?
Well, we know we have a lot of people that work in cars.
So if somebody-
I don't think that's what Carlos is here for.
No.
If Jim went and found violation there, and he was Jimmy, was he conducting business? I mean, if you wrote a violation, you must be conducting business, you wouldn't wrote a violation.
He was working on the car, the day he got his ticket, he was working on the car.
Okay.
Didn't ask him who it belonged.
Hold on, Eddie, hold on.
Okay.
I didn't give it before you.
I'm only answering.
I didn't give it before you. If you wrote a violation, running the business, Eddie, you know how we do it. You have to come through here and get a business license like everybody else would pass today. We've done this for years and years. There's one thing that you haven't, all the years I've worked with you, we have never allowed people to openly work on automotives here because all the stuff it carries with it. We have Metropolitan Water Reclamation, and we have to have certifications, just like Carlos has and everybody else. That's one thing, sir, that we've never had. If this gentleman's working on a car or two, I don't think that's what this young man's here for. I think he was kind of running the business. We had several over the years. I mean, this is a mechanic town. and we've probably had a dozen served, and we've always shut them down, so.
Then-
He might be a great guy, but if that's what we gotta do.
Then shut him down.
Yeah,
I
that's all.
don't care. You know what?
Where's
I
the
never
company?
thought about it. The guy was a good neighbor. He never bothered anybody. He never had a dirt around his house. Did you see any parts? And
You're right.
Could I ask a question? Trustee Osikowski, since you live across from the gentleman too, did you ever see him working a business? And why didn't you report it?
You're asking me
Yes.
specifically? Pretty much, he's on the other two houses down across from the mayor. I don't know anybody on that side of the block other than the mayor.
Well, I'm
I don't know who lives next to the mayor. I know who lives on my side. I don't know who lives on that side. I don't know his name. Now I know his name is Peter. I didn't even know the guy.
Let's
I
not
wouldn't
go-
know if he came in or not. So no, the answer is no.
then check it out. And
But
if he does the
now I
business,
know.
then write him another ticket. You know, I find it really, and if you wanna, I can allow you to have a place on my front yard so you can organize a stakeout, or whoever wanna do it. You know, guys, this is becoming.
Okay, but Chris, it did say
Then
that you're
shut
gonna
the guy
work
down.
on it.
Give him another
Work on it.
ticket.
So it's gonna go back to you and
We've
then,
been out there
It's just a
many
shame.
occasions,
It's just a shame to,
so the mayor has the materials for
we've
you.
been out there many occasions. It's a part-time department. The last 3 times we got a call, we get there, there's nobody there. I'm not going to grab the guy's car door or his garage door and see if it's open. If I don't hear any noise when I pull up of somebody tinkering or an air compressor or something, I'm not gonna go beating on the door. Are you in there? We're part-time. We caught the gentleman, we gave him a warning. A week and a half later, he was working on the same car, we gave him a ticket. He showed up in the court, his sister showed up because it's her house. The 2 of them were in court, they said they weren't gonna do it anymore, he was working on friends' cars. It was found unfounded, not by me, by the court, or the court officer who holds housing for us.
So it looks like he's continuing the process.
And again, this is not, we haven't heard one thing in the way of a complaint, okay? Since, all this paper you got, I have nothing, never got anything, okay? So don't point over here and say, well, you must have got something. No, we've gotten nothing
You can have
in the
mine.
building department.
You can have my.
Wonderful. That's closing the door after the barn door, the horses got out. This should have been done a long time ago. We got nothing other than a couple of emails. We addressed the emails as to the FOIAs that Sue sent out, looking for certain dates and times, and they got the information. Other than that, all this stuff you have here, we have nothing in the building department. Not in my desk, not on Jim's desk.
So maybe the mayor can just forward this, I don't have this email, but you could forward the email to, Mr. Shilka, and then right here. Oh, and your name is on here. You do have it.
I have what?
He's
You have
attached
an
to it.
email,
As of September 9th.
9th, you got the email.
Sure, we have a business owner, a legitimate business owner that has concerns, and I think we should look into it, sir. That's-
And we've done
And
that.
then we'll go from there.
We've done that.
All right? But we have some.
We're not, I tell you what, if Carlos wants to come in and sit down and talk and bring photos, that's fine, well and good. But again, unless Mr. Pastorino is his mouthpiece, I'm not gonna take and listen to everything Mr.
We don't need all
Pastorino
that. We
says and
don't
all
need
these
that.
complaints.
Comments thrown in. Mayor, would you address the gentleman?
Okay?
Yes.
Carlos hasn't come to the building department and brought anything to us. If he does, I have no problem sitting down with him and taking care of it.
Thank you.
I did attach him west towards Jim. He's been attached since the original one, August 16th, so he's been attached to those times. From his original message on there was, actually, apologize, August 17th at 12:14 PM. They were asking questions about it. I mean, if people are asking questions from August all the way to September, I mean, I would actually go and check it out myself. But I did FOIA on the court for the 24th, and then what, Mr. Jim said, there's nothing he said is true to the equivalent that it was only the sister that showed up, according to what I could hear. she's the one that talked, and she said that my brother was working on my vehicle because it did not start. And then he replied by saying it was unfounded and an earlier date. So he was the one that unfounded it, because it's his voice that said those specific words in that court. So it's in, I have the recording it and shot
That's
from
fine.
So you just said that, you just said the opposite. She's letting you know, just helping you out on what was said in the recording from what you just said now.
Again, bring the paperwork to the building department, not Mr. Pastorino, unless Mr. Pastorino is your appointed attorney.
No,
And again,
the way it works is I follow the proper steps where I contacted Matt in the village, went to you. I asked help from from a resident that knows the mayor, and then it didn't work out from there, so here I am.
okay, and I still have nothing in the way of paperwork as to what you're providing to everybody here.
So Jim, did you go from August till September, did you go back to the house to see if there was any more, work going on there?
Every time I passed the house going down that street, the garage door was closed and nothing was going on.
Couple
Yes.
of things that people, if they work at their home office, they have to have a business license.
Yes.
So if I have a desk and I'm gonna make a phone call, I have a business license, and this is a guy working in a car, he should probably have a business license. In this
You cannot
village,
work on the cars out of the private house, because it's residential.
There are
so then it
different
should be
things.
gone, but it should be
You
gone.
remember what issues we have because your businesses and your business was grandfathered.
And
Well,
My
makes
business
sense.
is not grandfather, I had a zone.
No, you had to get a special
Correct.
use.
I had to pay to get my business rezoned because it was sold to me. So I had to get the business rezoned, so I went through the whole process for like 4 or 5 months of doing that to get it rezoned. My thing is that you knew about this, but didn't say anything. That's where
I
I'm
didn't
getting.
even thought about it, the guy was harmless, so,
That's, you just answered my own question, that it's for tit for tat, that's what it was.
but it
He was
wasn't like
harmless to
he
you, he was
comes,
your friend.
but it wasn't like he comes at 8 o'clock, punches the car, and tons of cars sits there. Once in a while,
I had seen him there earlier than 9 o'clock. I opened my shop at 9. On purpose, I've driven down that street just to see if he's there or not.
well, like I say,
So what's the next step for Carlos, who is a legitimate business owner in town?
Soon as I see the guy, I tell him to cease and desist, and that's it.
And then you go to building department, Carlos, and give them the information, and then the inspector will go out.
Okay. I'd like to move to adjourn.